As always, turn around and just below our clock is a camera. We welcome all of you who join us online. Thanks for being part of our community. Thanks for being here. We love you. And now invite you to turn to each other and welcome each other to Universal Spirit Center.
So great to see the outpouring of happiness and joy and love in being in community. I always love this part. And it's so cool to stand here and really just feel it in the whole room and all the energy. So I hope you can feel it online too, that we welcome and appreciate your presence. So good morning, I'm Rev Sarah, and I have an announcement which you probably saw I was trying to do earlier. I am the director for the home group ministry, and so home groups are smaller groups that meet monthly in someone's home or in the park or online, and when it's cold and rainy, we definitely meet online. But it's a way for people to gather and connect on a more intimate basis, to really get to know some people and to travel this path together with them. So they meet monthly and they talk about the themes of the month that Rev Kevin is talking about. So I create this with Rev Kevin. We create some curriculum and questions to guide the conversation, but it's just really a chance to connect. So if you are interested in that, we have different types of groups and different types of formats. You can sign up at the Yes table, or you can talk to me afterwards, and I would be happy to connect you with the group. It's a really wonderful experience and a way to deepen and extend your the support and practice of your spiritual unfoldment. So I ask you, welcome you for that. And then the other thing is just to let you know that practitioners are here and that I will be here for prayer. There's a table right here for prayer requests afterwards if you'd like to write one, or to go down the hallway, I can do a prayer with you in person afterwards. So those are my announcements. So now let's just take a moment and breathe and do some spiritual practice together. So we're going to have some meditation and prayer and a reading. So let's breathe in and breathe out. And feel the chair that supports you. Feel the breath that supports you. Just allow the vibration of the infinite to become still in you, to become aware of itself as you. So today's reading is from Pema Chodron, When Things Fall Apart. Everything that occurs is not only usable and workable for our awakening, but it's actually the path itself. We can use everything that happens to us as a means for waking up. Use everything that happens to us as a means for waking up. how good it is to know that there is something deeper and more powerful, and more permanent than anything we are experiencing, anything in our path. How beautiful to know that even in the midst of challenge or sickness or war or injustice or natural disaster, there is the opportunity for it to serve a greater awakening. And so how good it is for us to be in this moment, to be conscious, to hold the intention for awakening, to intentionally step into a greater and greater experience of truth, of peace, of light. And so I claim and know that that experience is happening right here and now in the midst of this gathering. I know that that which is wise and compassionate and illumined and love is pouring itself into and as and through each of us. It's speaking and sharing wisdom and grace and humor and love and compassion through Rev Kevin. It is singing with joy and delight and beauty as Gino and our sounds of spirit. It is serving through all who set up today, Bob and Lee, and who greeted, and through sound and technology and production. And it is delighting in the awakening that is happening in the midst of each person in this gathering, in each chair, online, in person, right here. There is something powerfully moving and awakening and expanding right in this moment. I'm so grateful to know this for all of us, to behold that, to say yes, to be grateful for that. And so I allow it to be, and so it is.
With my soul, I had nowhere to turn, I had nowhere to go. Lost sight of my dream, thought it would be the end of me. I thought I'd never make it through. I had no hope to hold on to. I thought I'd break. Didn't know my own strength, and I crashed down and I tumbled, but I did not crumble. I got through all the pain. I didn't know my own strength, survived my darkest hour. My faith kept me alive. I picked myself back up, hold my head up high. I was not meant to break. I didn't know my own strength. Found hope in my heart. I found the light to light my way out of the dark. Found all that I need here inside of me. I thought I'd never find the way. I thought I'd never lift that weight. I thought I would break. I didn't know my own strength, and I crashed down and I tumbled, but I did not crumble. I got through all the pain. I didn't know my own strength, survived my darkest hour. My faith kept me alive. I picked myself back up, hold my head up high. I was not meant begin to break. I didn't know my own strength. There were so many times I wonder how I get through the night. I thought I took all that I could take. Oh, and I crashed down and I tumbled, but I did not crumble. I got through all the pain. I didn't know my own the strength. Survived the darkest hour. My faith kept me alive. Pushed myself back up, hold my head up high. I was not built to break. I was not built to break. You are not built to break. We are not built to break. Remember, remember, remember your own strength. Yeah, 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 your own strength. I love you.
Gino and our house band, Sounds of Spirit. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Gino. Thank you, Linda. I'm getting down here. It's a little closer to you. Is this good? Is this better? Yeah. It's cold. What's going on? This is unseasonably cold. It made me break down this last week and buy some flannel sheets. How many have flannel sheets in this room? Flannel sheets, let me tell you, when it's cold, oh my gosh, I got them like Wednesday. I was telling the staff about it. I got them Wednesday, washed them, put them on the bed. And so Thursday morning, I wake up, and the house is chilly, and I'm wrapped in these sheets, and they're feeling good. So I'm laying there, you know, and it's just awesome to be in there. And I had some time to sleep in. I didn't have to get up right away. And then I started thinking about this thing in my life that's kind of bugging me, right? It's just I started thinking about it, and then I started thinking kind of like about this situation, like what if the worst thing about this situation happens? And I started thinking about, my mind catches on to this thing, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm stressing about it, and I'm worried about it, and I'm getting worked up. I'm getting kind of tense in my body. I'm feeling it going through because I'm kind of concerned about this thing that's going on. And I hadn't even gotten out of bed. And actually, within those 5-10 minutes, I was awake. Nothing bad happened, except in my mind, right? Except in my mind. Because the present moment was awesome with my flannel sheets and the warmth of my bed. And so how many of you experience that, not with my flannel sheets, but experience that kind of situation where the mind just goes nuts, right? And it pulls us right out of a perfect moment. Pulls us right out of it. So I'm going to shift gears a bit. When one turns on the news these days, right? Don't you get overwhelmed? All the stuff going on. It's crazy making. It's crazy. All the violence, the wars, the mass shootings, these mass catastrophes, which in a moment kills 28,000 people. You know, we still are at the effects of COVID and that shutdown, and I can't help but think on some level we're experiencing some kind of trauma with all the stuff that's happening in the world, let alone the stuff that's happening in our lives, let alone. And you know, I don't know, I have this thought. I wonder, it just seems like humanity is in a very reactive state, very reactive, right? Very triggered, humanity as a whole. And I can't help but wonder, are the energy patterns being affected by the reactionariness going on within the human race? I have no idea. But it certainly seems weather patterns, as they get more severe, are sure being reactive, right? Sure being reactive. I listened to a podcast. This guy who went to some guru he had heard about, and he was at this guru's monastery. He had an awakening. His heart opened. He felt himself filled with light, and he felt transformed. He goes home. He tells us a story. He goes home. He settles in with his new self into his life. Week later, his girlfriend leaves him. Soon after that, he lost his job. He had to move out of his house. He was in a situation where his whole life was falling apart. His whole life. And he thought, how does this make sense? How does this make sense after my awakening? I come home inspired and clear and clean, and my life falls apart. Lower vibrational things cannot maintain when we have a higher consciousness happening. Let me say that another way. When I have a higher consciousness going on, things built on a lesser consciousness are going to fall away. Let me give an example. When I first came into religious science, started working the principles, started working spiritual practice, my life was changing. It was great. I was feeling better. My heart was opening. But what had happened was about 3 different relationships fell apart. And I realized those relationships were kind of built more on drama than they were on who I was becoming. So frequently, when things fall apart or go away in our lives, they're supposed to, because they don't match the higher vibrational energy or consciousness we are evolving to. Does that make sense? Does anyone have an example that they want to share? I know most of your names, so don't make me call on you. Yeah, Elizabeth. Yes. So your life really fell apart. Your daughter died. Your life really fell apart. But once you got into this teaching, then you rebuilt your life. Good. Thanks. Anyone else have a share of it? Briefly, Joel. Brief.
Yeah.
Just what fell apart?
Well, I conquered risk cancer using what we do here, the breath.
Good. So you healed cancer using breath, higher consciousness. Higher consciousness. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Good. Okay, so let's acknowledge these 2 shares. Yeah. So it just seems to me, see if you can relate to this. It just seems to me that as things become more difficult or challenging on our planet, in the world, that there's a group of people that are hearing a call to evolve to a higher level of consciousness. Another way of saying that is, as things are so difficult and struggle on our planet and in our world, that we're being called to love more. Not to be part of the reactionary energy that's causing the difficulties on this planet. Not to be a part of that, but to step out of that reactionary energy into a greater experience of love. So if that's true, and I certainly feel that's true, I certainly feel a call on my life to be more heart-opened, loving, more compassionate with myself and with others, right? And I know that when I get reactionary, when I get in my stuff and I react, I'm simply fueling all of the reaction that's going on the planet. Does that make sense? All the reaction that's going on the planet. So it seems that we who are being called to love, that it's imperative for us to learn how to maneuver through difficult times. Not to be overwhelmed by them, not to become victims or powerless by difficult times, but actually to maneuver through them and to use them as part of our awakening. Now, we've been going through this book, When Things Fall Apart, Pema Chodron, who's a Buddhist monk. And this is a handbook. If your life is or will fall apart, get this book. Because it's a great, and we have some on sale in the back there, actually. But this is a great handbook on how to keep our hearts open when things get really tough, whether it's on a global level or it's on a personal level. So some 30-ish years ago, when I came into this teaching of Science of Mind, and some of you were there when I came into this teaching some 30 years ago, there was such an emphasis on what we could manifest in our lives. And we used to call it the 3 Ps, princesses, parking spaces, and palaces. So it's like, what can I create that I want in my life, right? And so that was an emphasis. Like, this is the manifestation. What do I want? And I'll create it. And I think since then, some colleagues may or some people may disagree with me, but I think since then, we've evolved a bit. We've evolved to a point where we have an awareness that we need to include all parts of ourselves on the journey. So those parts of us that are sad or struggling, those parts of us that are in grief or disappointment, they're things that we bring in. So we journey on the spiritual path as whole, not as partial, not as denying parts of ourselves. That's not the spiritual path. The spiritual path is that we accept all parts of ourselves. We experience an inner wholeness. So I think that's really important. So that calls us to accept and be with the pain that's going on. That calls us and accept and to be with those things in our lives that are falling apart, that loosen us up so we could be free to evolve forward. It's the practice of letting go. It's paramount. If you and I want to evolve, if you and I want to be more loving, if you and I want to be more open-hearted, especially during difficult times, the call is to let go. When you and I are with all those parts of ourselves, when you and I treat ourselves with loving kindness and compassion, when you and I let go, manifestation happens so easily. But because we have such connection and such joy in our lives, the manifestation becomes secondary because we feel so good inside. That's the call. And we open our hearts, we experience inner light not for ourselves, but for others on the planet. When you and I experience grace or inner light, it's not for us. It's for those people that are in our lives. It's for those people that are in our lives, and that's how we change the world. Let's take a breath here, because I want one. So some years ago, the Science of Mind community, all the different centers throughout the world, we used to meet annually at Asilomar. And Asilomar is a conference retreat place in Pacific Groves up in Monterey, California, Northern California. It's a beautiful area. How many have been there? A lot of you. It's where the forest meets the beach, right? It's like awesome. It's the best place. And we'd go up there for a week at a time. We'd do conferences. We'd do spiritual practices. We'd do meditation. We'd have fun. So it was a great, great little retreat. We'd connect with colleagues and people from all over the country. So it was a really high-powered, energetic time, right? So one day I'm walking from my room to probably a workshop. I don't remember specifically. And I'm thinking about this thing that's going on at home, and it's kind of bugging me, right? And so I'm thinking about it, and I'm walking in. Some guy who I don't know, but is part of the conference, he passes me. And he looks at me, and he says, "Smile, you're at Asilomar." And I instantly felt guilty. Oh my God, I'm not evolved enough. That I'm not, and I'm a minister, and I'm not smart. Does he know I'm a minister? And I'm frowning? I must have been frowning at Asilomar. I must not be as evolved. How many of you think you should be more evolved than you are? More peaceful, more happy, right? This is a common experience. We're doing the work. We've handled that. You know, we solved that. We handled it. We do the work. We do our meditation, and we come to the center. And then we get reactive, we get angry, we get hurt, and tell me if I'm wrong, we immediately judge ourselves because we should be farther along than that. I'll tell you, having been in this teaching for 30 years and a minister, I'm there frequently. I'm like, I can't believe I'm thinking that or reacting that way. You know, I've been doing this for so long, right? Well, let me say a couple things about that. When things fall apart, when we struggle, when we find ourselves in chaos, it doesn't mean anything's wrong. It doesn't mean anything's wrong with us. What it means is there's a call from the universe to let go, and to evolve bigger than the challenge in front of us. So what I was confronted with that gentleman who told me to smile when I didn't feel like smiling, what I was confronted with was, my own self-judgment about myself. Whoa, right there. And when we judge ourselves or when we say there's something wrong with me, what happens? We close down. We close our hearts. We close down, we distance, or we get aggressive. So it's really kind of imperative that we learn how to maneuver through times in which we feel threatened, or we're in struggle, or we feel reactive. So this guy that I talked about earlier who had this awakening, and then he comes back to his life and everything falls apart, right? He realized that if he has negative thoughts around what's falling away in his life, if he has blame going on, that impedes the process of evolution. It impedes our growth because then we're stuck in lower judgmental energy. And we can't evolve from that place. But when we can look and say, you know what, I'm on a divine path and I'm going to trust what's going on in my life is supposed to be what's going on in my life. Michael Singer, who wrote Untethered Soul and a couple other books, says, how do you know something's supposed to be happening in your life? How do you know something's supposed to be happening in your life? Because it's happening. That's how you know. Because what we say in this teaching is that there's an evolutionary process that's calling us to a higher consciousness, that it happened 14 billion years ago at the Big Bang incident, and it's still happening today in you and in me and in our world. There's an evolutionary process. And you know, in the evolutionary process, something always has to fall away. That which was lesser has to fall away. Pema Chodron, who wrote this book, When Things Fall Apart, says this. It's a great quote. When we discover our inner demons, painful energetic patterns, we don't exercise them or destroy them. We welcome them with compassion. Let me read that again. When we discover our inner demons, painful energetic patterns, we don't exercise them or ignore them. We treat them with compassion. I think this is the first and the continual step on the spiritual path. And it's to always meet ourselves with loving kindness. Because if we can't meet ourselves with loving kindness, how could we meet another with loving kindness? If we treat ourselves with judgment and blame, we're going to treat others with judgment and blame. The first step on the path is to treat ourselves with loving kindness. That allows us to open and allow divine guidance to flow through. When we're closed and in blame and self-judgment, we can't hear that guidance, that urging for what the next step should be, because we're closed down. We're closed down. So it appears that we've all chosen this lifetime here, and in this lifetime here, the lifetime that we're all participating in, it's a combination of opposites. Have you noticed? Half the time we spend in darkness. Half the time in our lives we spend in the light. Half the time we struggle, maybe not half, but we struggle or we have peace, right? We are sad or we experience joy. In this plane of opposites, that's our experience. It just is. It doesn't honor us or our process. We don't honor ourselves or our process when we think, I've always got to be happy. I've always got to be peaceful. I've always got to be filled with light. That's not exactly, I think, the approach. Here's what I think the approach is. We welcome it all in. We welcome it in. And as you and I do the work around loving kindness and around letting go and being with ourselves, here's what we do. We create a spaciousness within us to discover and encounter and meet our natural state, which is peace. All the great spiritual teachers say that our fundamental state is that of peace. It's the kingdom of the divine within you. That's our true nature. And we've added, through ego and whatever and reactions, we've added all this other stuff. When you and I can let go enough, when you and I can be present enough to all those parts in us, we encounter peace. And so then the world does become peaceful, does become loving, because we bring that peace. We bring that loving. And so then when you and I meet difficult times, when we meet times that things are falling away, whether it be on a global level or on a personal level, you and I know how to kind of get back to that sense of original peace, that sense of love. Because we keep within ourselves an open space, an open space. And this open space also requires of us to be present to ourselves. You know, I'm talking to you right now, but I feel like, I have to tell you the truth, I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to myself about being with those parts in me that I'm very uncomfortable with. I'm talking to myself about becoming still with myself and letting those negative energetic patterns release so that I can find a spaciousness within to feel the peace. Here's what else happens when I create a spaciousness, and this is what we're going to talk about the next month. When I could create a spaciousness in my life, especially after things have fallen away, it creates a space for what's new. It creates a space for what's new. Because if something's falling apart, if something's falling away in your life, if something's falling apart, guess what? It's because the evolutionary process is taking something away so that something new can happen, so that something new can come about in your life. That's just how it works. But if you and I are still holding on, still attached, still have this story going on about why did this happen? Why did this fall apart? And still are in that energy, there's never an open enough space to welcome in what's new. So I want to kind of end with 3 points, which I've kind of said all along, but kind of sum it up here. Accept all parts of yourself. Exclude none. Accept them in loving kindness. Bring them all home. Bring them all home. Treat them, as Pid von Schroden says, treat them with compassion. That's the first thing. Here's the second thing. Be with yourself. Not just alone, but be present with yourself. Through intention, through breath, be with yourself in such a way that a space within is created. A space within. So that what wants to happen in your life that's new has a space to land. And the third thing, be really aware that our thoughts create. And our thoughts can rob us of a present moment experience. So the invitation is to pick the higher thoughts. I am loved, I am safe, I am empowered right where I am. This one divine life is unfolding. There was one life, it is divine, it is my life, and it is perfect. Those high vibrational thoughts will not allow lesser energies to hang out. So I want to read something to you, but I'm going to invite you to sit up straight and tall and close your eyes and then repeat this after me. This is I'm saying a little prayer by Ernest Holmes at the back of the Science of Mind text, and I would like you to repeat it after me. So take a deep breath right into your heart. And if you want, if you feel like it, you can place your hands over your heart if you want. Deep breath in. And go ahead and repeat after me. My love goes out to everyone in the world. I exclude no one. I exclude nothing. My love warms and enlightens everything that it touches. The love flowing through me is a power, a presence, and a life to all who feel it. Love within me is perfect and complete. So let's just breathe this energy and this high vibration of these thoughts. Let's just breathe it in. Let's remind ourselves here now that there's one energy, there's one presence, there's one life. It's God's life. And it's our life now. And it's perfect and it's complete.
And we'll take that into song. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now.
There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now.
There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. One life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Oh, that was delicious, family. I have the pleasure of being with you to share conscious giving. And first off, let me just say thank you. 21 years, y'all been doing it. 21 years. A community of conscious giving, a community that has spread globally to expand to others, to reach out, to lift up and help. A community that practice what we preach. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then the pandemic hit. What we gonna do? We became a hybrid community. And you online know that you are our family too. Yes, let's give them some love. Because many of us have been there when we couldn't be here. We've been there online. And those of you want you to know that our online presence is really powerful and it's growing. Since August, we hired a social media team and they've been helping us grow and expand. Now I could give you a bunch of numbers, but they go one ear out the other. Just know that it makes a difference. And with social media, with the media department, things always need to be upgraded. You know, it's like your phone. You have to. So we are constantly growing and expanding, and we thank you so much for your patience and time as we're going through that. So what is conscious giving and why do we do it? Because we are a financially responsible community. We believe in having a budget that supports our community and that supports you as well. So that's why we have a conscious giving campaign to inspire, to remind us once again that we have been called here to bring our tithes, to bring our goods, to bring our consciousness. We've been doing it for 21 years, and now we're a hybrid community. We have classes online and in person. Those things will continue to expand and grow because of you there online. And online, we have a special heart for you today. That online people, when you go to our webpage, and you tap on Get Involved and then Conscious Giving. When you go through it, you will get a heart from us back to you. Can you put that heart up, Michael? That heart is for you. We are stronger together. And you are part of that. So, today as you prepare your Conscious Giving part of the program, the tree trunk is the foundation. The 10% that we give to the tree trunk is fantastic. But we are asking you, because of the pandemic, because of everything that we've been through, to expand that giving into the branches and maybe kick in another 10% up there. That would go to music or to the production, or maybe it would go to having different speakers here. More global outreach. Dana's going to be in the back with this tree, and you can put on a heart back there, and she'll explain more in detail. But just know that your giving makes a difference, not only for Universal Spirit Center, but it makes a difference in our San Diego community and in our global expression. And you out there online, you make a difference. You are very much a part of our community, and we are grateful and thankful for you. Since August, our YouTube channel has increased over 20%, our Facebook over 50%. On our webpage, people are going and they're clicking and roaming around. That has increased by 50%. Yeah. So even with all the little ups and downs, and I thought how funny today we had trouble with sound at first. It's part of the journey. So I just want to thank you. I thank you for your consciousness, number one. I thank you for your giving, and I thank you for your continued support in all that we do here at Universal Spirit Center. Peace and blessings.
So I want to take a moment and acknowledge Gino because she's really the person who got us online when COVID hit. Can I see the pledge card? So in your pockets in front of you, in the chair pockets in front of you, you'll find a card that's gray that looks like this. So the month of February, we have Conscious Giving Month. So what we're asking you to do in the month of February is to let us know how much money you plan to give us for the year. There's not any police that are come knocking at your door if you don't give it. But really, as Gina was saying, it helps us to create a budget that's in financial integrity. So we ask you, especially if you're a congregant or member, support us financially and let us know how you're supporting us. This is how we keep in financial integrity. So there's that. So what we're going to do is a little ceremony, a little sacred ritual in terms of giving our pledge cards. So what we're going to do is we start music and a chanting is if you have filled this out, I'm going to invite you to come up to the altar, place it in the altar, and then take a heart. Just like online, as you click and give, you have that heart that Gino showed you. So go ahead and take a heart and then go back and sit down. Or if you have a gift, a financial gift this morning that you want to give to us, feel free to come down again. Or not again, but come down, place your gift on the altar, and then return to your seat sideways. After you've all come down here, if you don't want to walk down, we have ushers with baskets that will be passed. If you don't know how to fill out the card today, you don't know how you fill it out, that's fine. You can turn it in next week. So there's no pressure on that. We would love you to consider prayerfully what it is that is yours to give to this community. All right? Okay. I invite you to place your hands over your heart. Take a deep breath in. And if you are financially giving this morning or have a Conscious Giving pledge card, go and hold that to your heart too. Just bless your giving right now. All the ways you give out, all the ways you show up, all the ways you make a difference. Let's just bless that right now. So here's what we know. This financial support is energy. And it's energy that causes and promotes and supports global awakening on our planet. So let's know this together as we say, so it is.
I am opening. I am opening. My heart. My heart. Now, won't you join me? I am opening. You'll see the lyrics on there. Just take that into your heart. And let us sing that into our spirit. Here we go. I am opening. I am opening. My heart is ready to receive. I am opening.
I am
opening. My heart is ready to receive. I am opening. I am opening. My heart is ready to receive. I am opening. I am opening. My heart is ready to So, you know, our beloved Amy Steinberg, your former musical director, will be here at the Lions Club, March 10th. March 10th, she'll be having a concert. So, if you want to get a ticket today, you can see me afterwards. You can always go to our events page on our webpage and get a ticket that way as well. But we want to make sure we pack the house, right? Yeah, so everybody, let's get ready to sing I Am Divine. The light of love shines through me. The light of love shines. The light of love shines through me. I am divine. My mind lives peacefully. Peace is in my mind. My mind lives peacefully. I am divine. Love and peace shines and lives. Love and peace grows and gives. Love and peace is in my heart and in my mind. I am divine. Come on. The light of love shines through me. The light of love shines. The light of love shines through me. I am divine. And you know what? You are divine. And we are divine. I am divine. I am divine. You are divine. You are divine. We are divine. We are divine. So have a fantastic Sunday. And when you're out there in the streets and people see you all lit up and glowing, and they go, how do you look that good? You tell